Hi guys, it's Sherry Vegas and welcome back to my channel. So in this tutorial I'm going to show you how I like to create resin geodes. So to start with, you're going to need a board. I've just had some MDF custom cut into a geode shape, or an agate slice as some people like to call it, and then I'm just showing you the color choices I have picked. I've picked a few different blues, a white and a gold, and also an iridescent sparkle to mix through with my blues. It's completely up to you what colours you would like to use. I do tend to go for colours that have a bit of shimmer through them, or I like to add a bit of shimmer to them just because I like to have my geodes with a little bit of sparkle. But it's completely up to you, and I just got some inspiration for my colours off Pinterest. Now all I'm doing is just using a bit of painter's tape and taping up around the edges, just because I don't want my resin to pour off too fast before I'm ready. I'd like all my resin to stay on the board until it is time for my tape to come off. Once you're ready, you can then mix up your resin. I am just using the art resin, which is a 1:1 ratio, and once you've combined it thoroughly, then I just add it into my colors and mix my pigment through. If you want more detail on how to mix resin and what you will need, I do have a beginner's tips and tricks video, which I'll add in the link below. So to start with, you just need to start pouring rings of your color around your geoded shape. So I'm just following the outline that's already been created by where the wood has been cut out of the middle, and I'm just going to follow that and use that as my guide. I am just using a disposable syringe, which I use to suck up my resin, and then it just makes it easier to apply to my board without me getting resin into different parts that I don't want. It just gives me a little bit more control. So you just need to keep repeating this process until eventually you fill up your whole board with resin. If you don't want the resin to bleed into the other colors, then you need to do one color at a time and let it set before applying a different color. So this will take a few days if you don't want the colors to blend in together, but I actually kind of like when the different blues and whites blend in. I also just wanted to take a second to thank all of you guys that have subscribed to my channel and give my videos likes and comments. It really does help me out, and I've just reached over 1 million views. So thank you so much. It really does mean a lot when you do subscribe and you like the videos. It lets me know that you're enjoying the content that I am creating for you. If you follow me on Instagram as well, you know that this is not my full-time job. This is just something I like to do in my spare time and create tutorials to help other people be able to create beautiful resin artworks. So it does really mean a lot when you guys do support me back, because that means I can produce more content for free for you guys to watch on YouTube. Once I've filled my geode with resin, I just peel off the tape. You want to make sure you peel off the tape before your resin starts to dry, otherwise you'll have your tape stuck to your geoded artwork. Then I'm just going to go back in and add any extra resin to any areas I feel that is needed. The great thing about this artwork style is that no two geodes or agate slices would look the same, and that's the same with resin. You'd never be able to recreate the same resin artwork, and that's what I love about this. So my next step is I'm just applying some of my crystal chips into the center of my geode to create more of that realistic effect. I did this first lot when the resin was still quite wet, so that way the resin would act as the glue to hold the crystal chips into place. I really went a little bit nuts on the crystal chips, but I think it looks really great as an effect. You can use whatever color you like depending on what color you've decided to go with your geodes. And I've also seen people use some little mirror chips and it looks just as cool. So this is the time where you can really embellish and really go for it. On the edge of my board, I'm just using some gold spray paint and my hand as a guide, and I'm just going to be spray painting the edge so that way I get a really pretty gold line around it and it helps bring the gold that's in my geodes and ties it in. Then one of the last steps I did was I bought some clear quartz off Etsy and used a hot glue gun just to apply a whole bunch of them on the center of my geode just to really create that crystal effect. I really love this. And you can use whatever stone you want, it just depends on the colors that you're going with. This step does take a little bit of time, but I do feel like it's really worth it because it just gives such a great overall effect to your artwork. I also then decided at the end that I needed some more crystals on the outer bits of my piece, so I just used my hot glue gun and added some more of my crystal chips. I wish I did add the crystal chips in when the resin was still setting, but you kind of don't know what you want to do until you see it kind of starting to complete. And then the very last step that I did do off camera was I got some paint pens and drew some lines following the rings around just because I felt like it needed something extra, but that's completely optional. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, give it a big thumbs up and make sure you subscribe because it does really help me out.